Perfect. Salute. Oh, I needed that. What is up, YouTube or Rumble or both? Actually, it might start turning into both. I think I'm going to start posting things on a Rumble just to see where it goes or if it goes anywhere. Because why not? I guess, you know, today's story is going to be short and sweet. I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard about what's going on with the whole Trump thing in New York and the indictment and I believe 34 felony charges against him. If you haven't, that'd actually be pretty insane, and I'm kind of jealous because that's all I've been hearing about. So I figured it makes sense for me to make a quick video on my thoughts. Pretty short, sweet, and simple. I think this is actually insane. I think it sets a precedent that nobody wants to see in the future. I see politicians trying to get other politicians into jail constantly. I see a whole lot of issues coming from this. Even if they don't manage to get Donald Trump on anything, which they shouldn't, especially considering the charges themselves make 0 sense and basically were handled 6 years ago. That's why no other attorney or district attorney wanted to touch it, and they all turned it down besides, well, I'm not going to put names in there. I just won't. I just don't think it's important, nor do I think it's relevant. All you need to know, if you haven't already heard, is Trump is being indicted on 34 charges. And it was said at first that it was supposed to be like 130 some years or something, if everything's stuck. And I think it's been boiled down now to about 4 years from what I'm reading as of recent. When Donald Trump first breached the doors of the courthouse, I'm pretty sure CNN replayed that moment a solid like hour straight, basically critiquing his body language and whatever else they're trying to dig out of that. I couldn't believe how many times they kept replaying Donald Trump walking through that door in that courthouse. Just over and over and over. Really blew my mind. I mean, like, I understand the 24-hour news world we live in now, but seriously, like, I mean, I'm not kidding you. I mean, you can go back and watch the CNN recording, or I think even NBC did the same kind of thing. It was mind-blowing to see that replay over and over, and people kept chiming in on what they thought his face was revealing or whatever. So like I said, I want to keep this kind of short and sweet, so I'm just going to kind of cruise through this article by NBC News. Title of this article is Trump pleads not guilty after arrest, arraignment, and hush money case. All right, the article starts off by saying Donald Trump pleaded not guilty Tuesday to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to his alleged role in hush money payments towards the end of 2016 presidential campaign, the first time a former president has ever pled to criminal charges. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how unprecedented this kind of thing is. I mean, it says it right there. This is the first time a former president's ever been, you know, actually charged with anything and like brought to court on anything. Now, I don't know if this article mentions it, but all these charges are actually past the statute of limitations. They actually had to increase it from a misdemeanor because I believe a misdemeanor statutes were only like 2 years. And I believe pushing it to a felony makes it 5 years or above, depending on the situation. So they're really grasping at straws here. And you also have to remember back during this whole thing even started, Stormy Daniels tried to go after Trump for money for whatever reason. I think it was a civil suit of some kind, and ended up having to owe Donald Trump over $300,000. And just today, she lost another portion of the case where she owes another $100 and some thousand today. Yeah, today. So from what I've seen last, she actually owes Donald Trump over $600,000, which is insane. Now, it's kind of like a nice little layup on Trump's side when it comes to the future of what's going to happen here. So let's just read a little bit more in here. The indictment was unsealed in a proceeding before Judge Juan Merchan, I think it's pronounced Merchan, in criminal court in Manhattan. Trump was flanked by his lawyers inside the courtroom as prosecutors outlined their case, alleging he had made covert and illegal payments to affect the 2016 election. He faces a maximum of 4 years in prison if convicted. Now, like I said earlier, I think I read something about like 130 some years, which was preposterous. Even 4 years, 4 hours is insane considering this case. Asked for his plea deal, Trump answered not guilty. You have to remember Stormy Daniels actually signed paperwork stating that the affair between him and her never happened. It's a real thing that she actually signed. Not to mention all the time she's went on record stating that it never happened. But let's continue a little further. Prosecutor Chris Conroy told the court that Trump engaged in a legal conspiracy to aid his campaign and undermine the election. The statement of facts compiled by prosecutors in conjunction with the indictment said Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. It outlined 3 people who received hush money payments: adult film star Stormy Daniels, Playboy model Karen McDougal, and former Trump tower doorman who claimed to have a story about a child Trump had out of wedlock. Now, that might be a little interesting. I am interested in that. Does it really matter? Again, statute of limitations? Not really. You have to remember that this case is out of absolute desperation to keep Donald Trump out of office. Daniels was paid $130,000, which is hilarious because she owes him over $600,000 now, by former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen. Now stop there. It was also proven that that payment towards her was not actually clear. I have to stop here because that information is very misleading from NBC News over here. That payment to Stormy Daniels by Michael Cohen was out of his own money, and that's already been processed and sealed away. That's already been taken care of, already been just, handled, right? That money's been explained. Donald Trump did not pay Michael Cohen in reimbursements towards that. The only thing he's paid Michael Cohen in was lawyer fees, because this is Donald Trump's lawyer, you have to remember. So there's no documentation of Michael Cohen paying Stormy Daniels with Trump's finance money from the 2016 presidential election. Now, the other two people I can't speak on. I haven't really done enough research into this. Some of this, I guess, is kind of new. While McDougal and the doorman were paid $150,000 and $30,000 respectively by AMI, the publishers of the National Enquirer. This is something you have to remember about some of these news outlets, especially like NBC News, CNN, and I'll even give Fox some shit sometimes, but I digress. You have to remember that they're actually trying to mislead you without lying direct. Like saying Daniels was paid $130,000 by former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen. Yes, that's true. He did pay her $130,000, but they left out a giant amount of context as to what that money was. They also left out the part where Stormy Daniels is out hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost like $1 million at this point, and Michael Cohen went to jail. All right, you guys, I'm gonna leave it here for now. If something major happens, I might make another video afterwards. But as far as now, it looks like court won't go forward until December 4th, which is pretty wild. So we'll see if they put a hush order on Trump. We'll see what happens from there. And I'll keep an eye on his Truth Social account too. I don't personally have one, but I can at least check his account just to see what he's saying or if he's saying anything at all. There's a long time to come until December 4th, so we'll just see what happens, you guys. Anyways, tell me what you think down below. Do you think Donald Trump should go to prison for 4 years for whatever the hell this is? Or do you think there's a dangerous precedent being set here today? Because I think so. Honestly, I do. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe as well. That would mean a lot too. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.